I'll be talking about how to not get your emails in the spam box, because that seems to be like a very big problem. It's one of the most common questions I got asked over the last 7 years by most agents where we sit down and we start to look at some of the systems, the processes, the things that they're going to ask me initially is like, how do I not get my emails to go to spam? And it seems to be a very common problem, and it's one of the biggest problems that we need to address as insurance agencies, because we send a lot of emails and we send a lot of email communications. And so in order to communicate with our clients effectively and get them the information that they need, maybe provide them some resources that we may be needing to send them, just get valuable information in our customers' hands. Sometimes it's not as easy as we would want it to be, with all the spam and the servers and everything that kick you out and block you and blacklist you. Sometimes it's just hard to get a simple email to go to your customer. So we're going to be going through that entire process, and there's two aspects of this. There's like sending personal emails to clients or contacts, or just pulling up your mail client and writing an email. So there's that aspect of it. But then the bigger part of it is your CRM sending emails. And when your CRM sends emails, for instance, like automated emails, are them automated emails getting into the mailbox at the same rate at which your personal email actually would, if you was to just go on there and compose an email and send it. So we're going to be talking about that extensively, going over every step of the process, talking a little bit about why the process is the way that it is. Again, it may not be the most straightforward thing to do, but it's a very necessary thing to do. And it's a little bit technical, to be honest with you. There's some domain settings and DNS records and things like that that have to be added to get all this to fire off right. And that's why it's such a complicated thing to deal with. And that's why it's one of the most common questions that we get. So I'm going to go ahead and share this. So just give me a second. If you're watching, go ahead and share this. If you know anybody that's going to use this value, how to not get your emails into this. I'm just setting this up for myself and my new company that I'm just starting out, Ultimate Senior Benefits. And I want my domain to have as much reputation as possible online. So I'm setting this up, going through that. And I thought, hey, since I'm going through that process, I'm going to go ahead and share all this information so we can go ahead and help any other agent out. Before we get into AEP, when we probably have the heaviest communications between us and our clients, to make sure that our emails are actually getting in the inbox when we send it, and it's not going to spam. Because the last thing I need in the middle of AEP is like, hey, Miss Jones, I'm going to send you something real quick, and then it's not getting delivered. So just bear with me one second. I'm going to share this stream. That it is a couple of records here. So the way that I recommend everybody just go test what you already have is go to this website right here. This is going to be pivotal, testing our email sending capabilities, because we have to have a couple of records for this all to work. Well, 3 records really, but that's a DMARC record and a DKIM record. Them are the very 2 important ones, DMARC and DKIM, DKIM. So the first thing we can do is test this. And so right when you land on the page, it just tells you to go over and send an email. So the first thing we're going to do is go to our mail client. You probably can't see my screen right now, but I'm literally just sending an email to that address that says test, and you'll be able to see it when I send it through. Test. All right, I just sent an email over, and we're going to go ahead and check the score. Now what we want is 10 out of 10 on this, and this is going to tell you anything that's wrong with your email and why you're not getting to the inbox, or potentially not getting to the inbox, or what you can do to improve it. So mail-tester.com free tool. Just head straight over there. You don't have to log in. You don't have to give them an email or anything. You're just going to send this test email over, and you can see my email is coming back perfect. That's because I've went through this entire process over the last hour, set it all up, got it to be perfect, right? And I want you to do the same thing, and this is an easy way that anybody can test their domain to see what their domain is and what their reputation is of it. So here we can see this is a test email I sent. Just said test. Literally all it said was a test with my email signature. Email signature is very important, so that's just something to note, that definitely want an email signature in any of your emails. So it tells me Spam Assassin likes me. Why does Spam Assassin like me? Spam Assassin is, you know, one of the big servers that all of these email servers reference to cross, you know, the spam in email. So if you can get back past Spam Assassin, you're pretty good. But this says that my DKIM was signed, my DKIM was valid, all of this was good, it liked all of that, right? Great, your SPF is valid. That's another record that's very important, is the SPF record. But typically, by default, when you're setting up your domain, if you've ever set up an email for it, then you've already got an SPF record added. Like if you set it up at Google, it's going to tell you to add your SPF record, and they're literally going to give you that SPF record that you need to add. So typically that's already set up and it's not an issue, but every now and then we come across somebody who doesn't have the SPF set up. But it's going to tell me I'm authenticated, my server's good, it's authorized to use it, my DKIM is valid. Here's the signature of my DKIM, all my goodies there, my public key, the message that was passed here, my DMARC record says it was good. Again, everything is good. Anything that wasn't good, it would tell me, and it would tell me what I need to do to fix it. So if my MX records may not be the same, it would tell me exactly here what I could do to fix it. So right here it's telling me that I could improve. It said that I don't have the list unsubscribe header. That's not a big deal, because that's usually when it's coming from a mailing list. I would need to have the unsubscribe header. Again, that goes into the other aspect. Am I sending personal mail? I don't need that unsubscribe header. If I'm sending it from my CRM, part of a mailing list, I would need that list unsubscribe header to have, to be on there to pass this test. But since I just sent a personal email, I'm not worried about that. Every other checkbox is green, and that's what I want. Yeah, I had a weird weird setup there for a second, Valerie. So you should have the other view now where you're seeing my screen. All right, so mail-tester.com. It's the first thing we want to do. I'm actually going to set up a secondary email that I haven't done yet, because I want to get it set up, and I haven't done this. So if you don't have a domain, or you're using gmail.com as your primary email address for business, I would recommend you don't do that, just because a domain name is so simple to buy. I would recommend going somewhere like Google Domains, right? If you're going to do it from scratch, go straight to Google Domains, buy a Google domain. Usually it's like $1. Oh, they started using Squarespace for it. But you could do so you can go to Squarespace, you can go to GoDaddy. Personally, I use Ionos. Ionos is where I go, just because they're pretty cheap. And so you can see it just logged me in there. But if I wanted it to find my new domain.com, and $10 for the first year, and then, so, whatever, not too bad. I would go ahead and buy it, and then once I buy it, then I would need to determine, how am I going to check emails for that domain? Just because I own the domain, findmynewdomain.com, doesn't mean that I'm automatically going to receive emails. I have to determine, where am I going to receive the emails? Most of the time, wherever you buy it from will offer you a email inbox. So for instance, if I bought it from Ionos, they'll have an email inbox that they would offer me, usually free for a certain capacity, like up to 2 gigabytes of storage for free, and then if anything over that, I would need to pay. But I would recommend using Google for that, because Google is going to be so friendly and it's going to be able to connect to so many different platforms. I highly recommend Google Workspace as what you're going to use. So you can go straight to workspace.google.com and get started with Google Workspace. Google Workspace, this is going to provide you a Google Drive. It's all listed down here, right? It's going to provide you with your Gmail, your Google Drive, Google Meets, Calendar, Chat if you need it, and all these other services that they have to offer. And it's very low cost. It's not very expensive for what you're actually getting out of it. Again, it's cloud storage and your email manager and a meeting and calendar software. Like, it's definitely worth it, again, because it's going to be able to connect to so many different things and make your life so much easier to just be able to use Google. So I always recommend use Google Workspace as your business workspace, but once you have that set up, you're going to have a back-end dashboard that you can go into. Again, sign in with Google. That's something that makes your life easier. Almost every platform we run into has a sign in with Google. It allows you to use your Google profile in Chrome, store all your passwords there. Just syncs up very nice for what we have to do as insurance agents. So once you get into your Google, you'll go to your accounts and you'll go to domains and manage domains. And then we're going to add a domain here. And let me see if there's a domain I haven't added. Either way, let's just say there was a new domain I was going to add here. All right, so I'm just going to add a subdomain. Ignore that. Just pretend like you're going to add, your regular domain, but it's not going to let me do it because I already have that one. But I'm going to add a subdomain here. So I would literally go to Google Workspace, tell it I want to add the domain, and then it's going to give me some records that I would need to add. Hit a little refresh here, and it's going to say verified because I've already done that one. Let me do a domain I don't own. All right, so now it's saying, okay, we want to verify that you actually own this domain. And if you bought it from 1-in-1, it'll actually connect to 1-in-1 and log in and do all that. Or you could say I use a different one, but it'll automatically connect and add these records for you if you used 1-in-1 or if you use any of these other ones on their list. But what it's wanting you to do is essentially get these records. And this looks intimidating, but it's not. It's literally copy and paste over to wherever you bought it. So for instance, if I bought it in Ionos, then I can go to my domains. Again, they're going to connect it all for you. It's going to have an automatic setup process for you, but if it didn't and you were having to add this yourself, I would just be coming here and hitting add record and adding a TXT record and literally copying over these values. Once I've copied over them values, it says come back here and confirm once you've updated the code. I would just come back here and I would verify and confirm, and then it's going to check. And then once it recognizes, hey, you have added them records, bam, now my domain is going to be added to my Google Workspace, and I can use my Google Workspace I can use my domain with Google Workspace. So I can have Steven@ultimateseniorbenefits.com set up, and I don't have Steven@gmail.com, and it looks very unprofessional. So that's like the very beginning step to all of this. But most people set that part up and then they just stop. And then the question is, why do I always end up in the junk mailbox? And the answer is because you don't have you don't have two additional records added that are very, very important. One of them is called the DKIM record. And so if we go back, I'm just gonna go back to mine. Right, you don't have this DKIM record right here. This DKIM record is very, very important. This is a record that you create on your server. So for instance, we just told Google we want to use Google for our mail. Now Google is our mail server. So we need to go to Google, our mail server, and ask them for this key and say, hey, I plan on sending mail from somewhere else, but I need a key, so when I send that mail, we're gonna check with you and do a little handshake to verify, hey, you are Steven sending that, right? Because what happens if I don't set that up is some wahoo from India can go out there and send an email from Steven@ultimateseniorbenefits.com because I don't have a handshake key on my server to verify when that email goes out. Let's just say you're on your MacBook and you're in your Apple Mail and you say, hey, I'm gonna go send the email out. And when you go to send the email out, your Apple Mail client says, okay, well, let me check with who you're saying you are. You're saying you're Ultimate Senior Benefits. Let me check Google and verify that. So now, if that handshake's there, if we have that handshake, it says, okay, it's verified. We verified it's Steven that sent that. It come from his Google handshake. Whereas that guy in India, if I didn't have that, that guy in India could set it up on his mail client and send as Steven@Ultimate Senior Benefits. And I really didn't send it, but there was no verification with the actual Gmail server where I actually send mail to say, hey, is this actually Steven sending it? So I don't know if that makes sense, but it's just kind of a handshake that happens in the background with the server. And if we don't have that handshake, when the receiving server gets it, it says, hey, you never even looked at having a handshake. I don't like that. That's kind of a red flag for me. I'm going to send this over to the junk box. So again, that's the receiving server. Think about it. I'm gmail.com. I'm client@gmail.com, and I'm receiving an email, and it's saying, hey, is this junk? Well, there's a red flag because it didn't even validate with who he said he was to make sure that he is who he said he is. So that's a red flag. So more likely, I'm going to go towards junk, right? So me as the incoming receiving server, I'm gonna say, hey, I'm protecting my guy here. You're looking like you're sending junk because you didn't do your handshake before you sent, right? And that's what that DKIM is. It's just a handshake. So now when the incoming server gets it, if you did have that, he's gonna say, okay, he did his handshake, that looks better. But then there's another aspect of it, and that's the DMARC. And the DMARC is almost the same thing, except the DMARC is telling how your server to handle junk or spoof, or it's saying, hey, reject all emails that don't validate this, right? If the handshake doesn't exist, then don't send it, reject it. So there's three settings I could have. I could have ignore, reject, or quarantine. Quarantine would be like it's going to send it to me for verification, and then I could approve the email to go out. You don't want to quarantine it. You either want to reject it, and very rarely do you ever want to just ignore it and receive all of that. You're literally saying anybody can send an email as me. If they don't have my DKIM record, just ignore that. Just let it go. So as an incoming server, if I'm trying to protect my client, I want to make sure you've done everything on your end to tell me that you are who you say you are. So I want to make sure you've done your DMARCs and you've done your DKIMs and you've done everything to make sure you say you are who you are. And then me as the incoming server, if you did all that, then I'm more likely to deliver you to the inbox. And so that's the easiest way I can explain it, right? It's like they're protecting their customer. Just think about it as like somebody's protecting it, shielding it out. And if you didn't validate, you don't have them signatures, then I'm not accepting it. It's like it's right. It's like a contract or something. If it doesn't have the right signatures and all the right parties didn't sign it, then I'm not accepting it. It may be right. It may be legit. But if it don't have if the signatures that I'm looking for on the lines that I'm looking for, then I'm not accepting it. And that's essentially what's happening, and that's landing most of our agents, or most of the agents that we work with, inside of the junk box. And so it's as simple as adding these. So we're going to go ahead and go do this. Again, to get this Google domain key, the Google domain key is given to you from your server, or whatever server you have. If you're not using Google and you're using Microsoft, that's usually the most popular other one is Outlook, Microsoft. They're going to give you your domain key, or any other server that you're using to send emails are going to give you this domain key. So look for that domain key. We're going to go set it up with Google right now. So it's as simple as, let me get back out of this. All right. Once you have your Google Workspace, we're going to go to Apps. We're going to go to Google Workspace, and we're going to go to our Gmail settings. Inside of here, we can actually configure our setup mail authentication, right? And we can set that up, and we can do it, and we can go ahead and stop it, set it up. You're going to generate a new record here. If we wanted to do one for this, so yeah, here's one I don't have a record for. So let's go ahead and set that up. DNS record, generate new record. All right, actually, I'm going to go ahead and set this one up because I don't have that set up, I don't believe. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy here. DNS record. We're going to add a record. Text record. And what did it give me? A big old long key there. And then it wants my name, the DNS host name, to be that. So we're going to go ahead and set that up as that. And I like 5 minutes. We're going to set that at 5 minutes. 5 minutes. All right, now I have my domain key for that, and I'm actually going to go back to start the authentication. And while we're waiting on this, I'm actually going to go back and add my domain here because I don't even think I have my domain here. Manage domains. Let's go ahead and add domain. Oh, I do have it in there. Okay. And it's verified and activated already with Google, meaning that means I've added my Google records here, right? It said it was Google verified. That means because Gmail set up, it wanted these records. That tells Google I own this domain. These are Google's servers, they're MX servers to actually send the mail. And then this is the SPF saying, hey, we're going to be sending mail from Google. We're going to allow Google to send mail as us. We got to have this. This is like a Facebook verification to verify on the domain and for Facebook. And then the Google. So let's go and test this. Let's see. Oh, let's go back and make sure before we leave. Go back to Gmail and authenticate. Oh, it already did it. So it says I'm authenticating, right? I'm good to go. Now it's telling me, hey, you're going to end up in the you're most likely to end up in the mailbox. So I'm going to go back to mail tester. We're going to do a test here and see what else it don't like about this domain. Test. Why is it doing this to me? I'll just bear with me. I'm trying to send this test email here, and it's being a little funky. Huh. Test, okay. Let's see what we got. Right. Oh, I've already done the 3 tests per day. Hit my limit already. Well, hopefully you don't need to test it more than 3 times. Hopefully you're not doing 3 domains. And if you do, you can do them in multiple days. But we'll move on. So that was the first part. Another one we can use is MXToolbox. This is another good one. It's going to tell me what my DMARC records are. It's going to say I have no DMARC records. So I'm going to go ahead and create some DMARCs. All right, no DMARC. And if we hit more info, so there we go. All right. So there's ways that you can generate these DMARC generators. Super easy. I like this one here, the easy DMARC generator. And you're just literally going to fill it out. And this is going to create the records that you need. Did they start charging for it? Oh, I did look up. Here we go. The generator. I had to switch to the generator here. So once you switch to the generator, you're going to say reject anything that doesn't match that. And just send that to reports. And if you had a subdomain, you can set it for the subdomain. I'm not going to do all that. You don't even have to set any of this up either. You can leave that how it is. And now it's got this record here that I can go ahead and add to my domain. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Again, I like 5 minutes. I always set it at 5 minutes. All right, now I have my DMARC record in there. So now, if we do this, sometimes it takes a minute to actually load, but they have a DMARC. There we go. Now we're good. Now we got all green check marks here instead of the red X like we had when we checked it just a second ago. Now we're good. And so if we was to go back to mail tester and do it again, now we would have green check marks on our, right? So there's multiple tools out there that you can use mail-tester.com and MXToolbox.com are the ones that I like the most. But any of this, if you like, you can see I just Googled DMARC generator a while ago. And when I did that, there is tons of these things that come up. It's literally a couple of inputs that you put in, and a lot of the settings you don't have to change. The biggest thing is that you have it reject. You have an email address that you put in. So the policy is reject. You have an email address that you're putting in, and then all this you don't even have to set. Right, whatever, bam. And now I've got my record. As long as I have this here, then I'm good when that receiving server gets my email and is trying to determine whether or not whether or not they're spam. And so you could turn this on, turn this on. If you turn that on strict, like this is going to be the strictest rules allowed. And this is what Google and Yahoo, this is what they like to see. Very strict DKIM and SPF alignment. So I would recommend turning them on, but that's if you know what you're doing. If you're just trying to get the basics on there, then this SPF alignment, it's going to mean a little bit more. You're going to have a little bit of restrictions. So like if you ever go somewhere to another third-party platform and try to send more emails, you might have to come back and alter your SPF alignment records to be able to send from that new third party. For instance, you go to like GoHighLevel or Mailgun and put in your email into GoHighLevel, so GoHighLevel can send emails from your domain. Then there's another SPF record that's going to be added, and then your DMARC record would have to account for that. So it's a little bit more of a process. But yes, it's definitely necessary, and it's going to actually get you into the inbox on some of these emails that you're sending out. Where did my folder go? Okay, there it is. Yeah, I thought I lost my window. So now we would just take that and add that back to your DNS records. So now we have a DMARC record, we have a DMARC record, a DKIM record, and an SPF record. That is what the receiving servers want to see to determine whether you're going to go to the junk box or the inbox. There's a couple of more factors that play into it. Things like what is your text saying? Like what is the copy saying, right? If you're just saying free, urgent, fill out this free benefit or this free form. The word free is a very, very bad red flag for any server. So try to avoid the word free or anything in that tone that feels like spam. So your text to image ratio, you don't want to have more than 60% images. 60% is really, really high. I wouldn't have any more than 20% images. So you want to have a lot of text, 80% text, 20% images. Again, that's what the incoming servers like to see. I don't know if you've ever seen one of the spoof emails where it's just like a big image. There's no words, but it's an image and it has text, looks like an email. That's what they're avoiding, right? Just one email with one big image in it that looks like text. So that has a factor in it. Your text, your image to text ratio, and then yeah, what you're actually saying. Free the messaging but behind some of this. So Okay, so we've got the DMARC, DKIM, we've got the SPF records. That alone is going to keep your personal emails out of the spam or the junk box, and it's going to allow you to actually deliver them to the inboxes. So that's one aspect of it. We haven't even talked about the aspect of your CRM or third-party marketing sending emails on your behalf. That's the other thing that happens is we set up a CRM. The most popular one is like GoHighLevel, or the niche one that I built was GoGuru. A lot of people use it, but if you're using GoGuru or GoHighLevel or any other third-party platform where you're sending emails on your behalf, on your domain's behalf, you're going to have to go through the same process for that email domain. So we're going to go through it inside of GoHighLevel. All right, so once you get logged into GoHighLevel, let's go ahead and add our domain in here. So let's go ahead and do that. Connect a domain, and we're going to connect a domain for email for this sake. And I'm going to do mail. So you don't want to do your primary domain unless you're not sending emails from anywhere else. Let's just say you didn't go set up a Google Workspace, you don't plan on having a personal email, this is just something that you're going to market from, then you can send it from your root domain, but most likely you're going to be using your root domain, and so you're going to have to put it in a subdomain. And that could be like MG, it could be mail, it could be replies, go, whatever you want it to be. I'm just going to do mail for the sake of this. We're going to say almost there. So now it wants us to go add the same type of things. We need to go tell our domain, where we have our domain registered, all of the information that it needs to send the emails on our behalf. All right, setting up your domain. It's going to give us all these records. Now we got to go add all of these. So we're going to go ahead and do that right now. Just going to split it up here. So you can see it's just a little back and forth. Text record. And we're just setting up these records, just copy and pasting, copy and pasting. Not hard, just a tedious task. Not hard at all. And this one says it's a CNAME, so just be careful what you're actually selecting. This is going to be a CNAME, and points to that. And we're going to drop it down to 5 minutes. And then this one's going to be an MX record, so we're going to go ahead and add MX mail, and this is MXA, and drop it down to 5 minutes, and boom. Same thing, we're going to add another MX record. This is the secondary MX record. Every time you add an MX record, they always give you a secondary one, so you always have like an A and a B. Boom. All right, we got that in there, but we're not done. When we get done with this and we hit verify, GoHighLevel is actually going to give us one more DMARC record that we can go ahead and add here. So we're gonna wait for that. See right there, DMARC, not verified. This field is optional. It says it's optional, but I would not recommend it be optional. So like right now, their default is none. We can reject. So I'm going to go ahead and add that record. Text. And for this, we just got to do underscore DMARC. And yours may be different. Like Ionos automatically adds the .mail because that was the subdomain. So I don't have to add it. You can see down here. Actually, I do have to add it in this case. I want it to look like that, DMARC, and that's what we get. Then I'm going to go over here and copy. Boom. Okay. So now we've got that, and we're just going to hit verify, and we should get a verify. All right, that means it verified. We can confirm that by clicking here and hit verify domain. All right, and it's not giving us, but we can still hit verify. It should give us that any second now. Boom, there we go. Now we're verified. So our DMARC is verified. Boom. All right, so now that we have that set up, all right, we can go in here, set our headers. So anytime mail comes from here, we can say we want it to come from info@swmartinez. Oh, excuse me. Dang it, I can't even spell my name. There we go. So I set my headers. So like that's the dedicated header. When an email comes from that domain, like who does it come from? Let's go ahead and set this one up. So we definitely want to set that up so it's always lining up with what we have. All right, so now we have our email address added into GoHighLevel. So it's in GoHighLevel, so now we can say, hey, I want to send emails from info@swmartinez.com. Even though I added this, we can still send email from here just because we added this. So that's the caveat. People always get confused thinking, I don't want to send email from there. Well, you don't have to. We just had to do this to add it to here. But now that we've added that, we can send email from just your root domain, not your subdomain. But by default, it'll use like your GoHighLevel automations. When your automations go out, it's going to use this domain. But when you want to send an email and you want to send it from info@swmartinez.com, you can do that. And again, it's a really confusing part about all of this, but you can definitely send email like this, so you don't necessarily need anything else. All right, so now we've got that verified and we've got our emails in there, and we should be good to go. And we can kind of test this out in here. Let me see if I can. Let's see if I can send an email, but I don't know that I can right now. So let's see. Services. Oh, this was the other thing I was going to go over. Your Postmaster Tools. So we want to have a good record with Postmaster, Google Postmaster. So probably like, what the heck is that? Google Postmaster is going to allow you to monitor your Google, like how many, when you're getting flagged as spam and things like that. So go to just Google, Postmaster Google, and you go to Postmaster Tools by Gmail, get started. Of course, I'm already logged in. I already have all my emails in there, but we're going to go ahead and add this new one here that we just did, mail.swmartinez.com. It's been added to my domains, and it knows that I own the domain because I've already verified like that whole domain name. So any subdomain that I add, it just instantly verifies it. However, if I wanted to add a new domain, it would be new domain, .com, and then it's going to say, well, do you actually own that? Let's verify that you own that domain. And I would have to go take this text record over here and create it, and then hit verify, and it would verify, hey, now Postmaster knows you truly, or Google knows you own that domain, and they're going to let you use it. So you can't just go choose, Tesla.com and start sending emails from Tesla.com. They're going to verify you own the domain. And let me delete that domain. All right. And so one thing about GoHighLevel, it won't recognize that until I oh, never mind. It recognized it right away. I was going to say I had to disconnect last time and reconnect. But now that I have this, it's gonna keep up with my reputation. So over the last 90 days, it's gonna say your domain reputation, how many users reported you as spam, how many spam feedbacks did you get, how many authenticated traffic. It's gonna give you all these extra details and analytics on your email services that you wouldn't necessarily have without it, and you might not know why you were getting sent to junk or how often you were getting sent to junk. Again, just more data to play with. Probably never going to come look at it, but it's good to know that if you find yourself in a situation where everything is going to junk, to know why or how often or what was causing it. So set up your Google Postmaster tools to go along with that to manage your domains. So, all right, if you do all of this, if you followed along every step of the way, I promise you. There we go. Oh, all right. So, but if you do all of these things, you're not going to end up in the junk box, and you're going to end up in your client's inbox where you want to be when you send them marketing materials, or you're marketing to them for AEP, or you're trying to gather drug lists for AEP, to create that retention that we all want. Email marketing is one of the easiest and cost-efficient ways of marketing to your current customers. I firmly believe that so many people sleep on the value of email marketing and how valuable a marketing list is. A marketing list is like I said, it's so inexpensive to market to that it's something you can tap into at any given moment, and it can actually be very, very fruitful with the cross sells and the other additional policies and referrals and things like that that you get off of just simple email marketing. And it's a way to stay in touch with your clients that's not so aggressive, like text message or even direct mail at times. But again, email is a little bit more lax than what text message is. And in my opinion, we're getting into an area where text messaging is getting just about as bad as like your junk mail, right? Because you're putting your text, your emails in, or your cell phone numbers into so many different things, so many different marketing pieces. And then now you have the ability in your text messages to report junk, just like we did with emails, 15 years ago or 20 years ago when we first started getting this mass influx in companies marketing through email. Then we needed the unsubscribe button. Now it's happened with SMS where we need the subscribe button, and it's gotten so bad that with SMS that we have to go through these A2P registrations, and carriers like T-Mobile and AT&T, who are the two biggest carriers when it comes to text messaging and multimedia messaging, they're cracking down on it, and they're cracking down on it, and they make you go through these A2P registrations. So if anybody's bought any sort of phone number that you plan on sending text messages from in the last, God, year, I would say maybe 2 years even. The A2P is something that come about last year. And again, the carriers got really stiff on it with text messaging, but it's to protect the consumer. And these are the same things that happen with emails. All these measures are to protect the consumer. Because think about yourself. You get all these emails, and if you didn't subscribe to it, it's probably annoying that it even landed in your inbox. So your mail server is trying to do as best as a job as possible with everything to consider to make sure that it's protecting your inbox and only getting you mail that you want to receive. So there's a lot of hoops we have to jump through to make sure that that happens. So it's a barrier, but at the same time, it's a protective barrier for the consumer and the clients. And it's a good thing to have. And it's what we're starting to see with text messages now, with the A2P registrations and the opt-out language, and having to have your name in there, having to have your company name in there, having to have a way to opt out in the first text message. Like, these are all things that 5 years ago, when we were using systems like GoHighLevel to market, we really didn't have these issues. We were just kind of the wild west, if you will, right? It was just all willy-nilly, text and send whoever you want. And here this past week, we've had states like Texas crack down on the marketing and the consent. And if you send somebody in Texas a SMS or any text message without their consent or their opt-in, like, there's big repercussions that can come back to you for that. And so Texas was just the first state. I imagine a lot more states are going to fall in line with that sentiment, and it's all to protect you, the consumer. And right now we're looking at it as an agent standpoint, and so we're coming at it from the business side of it. And then again, it's creating some hurdles and some extra work that we feel like may be unnecessary. But in my opinion, it's very necessary, and it's what's needed to be done. And if you go through that, it's just going to make you even more validated, and it's going to make you more, more of the authority. It's going to weed out all the bad actors. It's going to weed out all the weak ones, and essentially that's what we want in our industry. I think we say that a lot with the call center environment and how the call centers are, that we want to weed out all the bad actors. Well, like, the call centers are the bad actors, but not all of them, right? There are good people that do that, and it's the same thing with the text messaging and the email marketing. There's plenty of bad actors doing all of that, but we want to be part of the good ones and be recognized as the good ones, just like we would want to be recognized as one of the good agents, right? One of the field agents who are actually doing valuable work and bring that personal relationship to what we do and take pride in that. And in my opinion, it's kind of gotten lost, this race for these multi-million-dollar exits and valuations is kind of lost the true art of what we do, and what's really valuable and how we actually built these good businesses was that personal touch and that face-to-face aspect of what we were doing. I think it's still very valuable service to offer all of our clients. And so the more we can protect our clients, do things that we can do to protect ourselves as business owners, and jump through all the hoops that are necessary. Again, it may be cumbersome in the very beginning, setting some of this up, having to figure out what the hell a DKIM record is and a DMARC record and an SPF record, and deal with all this. The good news is maybe you don't even manage your own domain, but you're finding yourself into the junk box. If you watch this, at least now you know what to go tell the guy. Go tell him, hey, make sure my domain has a DKIM record. Make sure I have a DMARC record. And go to that mail tester damn website and make sure that I'm good on all that, right? Go tell them to do all this, and it's something that if you're paying somebody to manage your domain and your website for you, they should be able to figure all this out and know exactly what you're talking about. If they don't know what you're talking about, then just hit me up, because I'll offer this service to you, charge a monthly fee for web hosting. It's something that I'm getting into as I'm building my own agency. Just because a lot of agents that I talk to still desire this, and it's still a service that they need, and they don't have time. And the time aspect is the important part of it right now as a small agency. I mean, I can set up a lot of this and knock it out in 5 minutes, where it might take you 2 or 3 hours to actually figure out and discern what is what and do this. So I'll take the headache off of you. Pay the hosting fee if you want to. I'll set it all up. I'll work with you to get all this. Again, I'm not here to offer or sell any services, but if you are in the need, it's something that just comes second nature to me. So I'm more than willing to help with any of this. But I'm in grind mode myself. I'm starting my own agency. So Ultimate Senior Brokers is just getting off the ground. Again, I'm setting up my email for all this and getting it all in place so I don't end up with all of my marketing that I'm starting to send out. I'm doing all the registrations myself, and so I'm building this business from scratch. And so I'm looking to do it alongside some people. Whoever's looking to take this next step, take their agency to the next level. Working with Justin, I've done it all. I had the pleasure of working with him the last 7 years and partnering with him. I was able to learn a lot and have a lot of conversations that I never thought I would have, and learn a lot of things that I never thought I would learn, and sit at tables I never thought I would sit at. And so it's something that I'm going to take advantage of, and all the information and knowledge that I have, we're going to set out to do it again and build a business better than we did before. And I think I can expedite that process significantly by doing things that I know shouldn't be doing, and focusing my attention on things that we should be doing. And so I'm heading into AEP with about 5 LOA agents, and we're going to be full steam ahead going into AEP. And it should be great. I'll keep you guys updated with my marketing. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, anything. I'm going to repost this video probably on YouTube, get my YouTube started. I haven't been posted on there in quite a while, but I'm going to start posting live videos on my page, so follow me if you want to watch more content like this. Again, I've got a lot of free time right now, and as I'm setting up stuff, I'm realizing it's a good opportunity to share the stuff that I'm doing. Every agent's having to go through this. So like setting up the agency, going through that process, setting up the LLC, getting licensed, just root level things that it's been 8 years since I've done. And so you just kind of forget how valuable that little bit of information is, or how easy it is for me or to do, and then how hard it can be for some other people to do, just from personal experience over the last couple of weeks here, watching other people that I've challenged to do some things, not be able to get it done. It's just, like I said, it's just eye-opening, and it's humbling to remember that there's a lot of value that I can add to the independent field agent. And so if you're an independent field agent, you're working, a remote opportunity or something like that, and you're looking to get some of this off the ground, it's what I'm doing day in and day out right now. I'm going to be sharing a lot of the content with you guys. Not selling any courses, not selling anything, just looking to add value to agents, because honestly, it's what I've done for the last 8 years. Haven't got paid for it, didn't benefit off of any of the courses, or didn't make any money off of any behind the agency or any event that we threw, any Medicare con, didn't make any money off of it, even though the company made lots of money and everybody benefited from it. I didn't make any money from it, and that's what I've been doing for the last 8 years. And so I'm going to continue to do that while I grow my agency, in an effort just to give back to agents and provide some value. I just want to provide value to make sure that you're in the best situation that you can be for yourself. A lot of people end up in bad situations, and they don't even realize it because they don't know, what another opportunity may look like, or what other agents are being offered or experiencing. And so I'm here to just, again, share my knowledge of the industry as much as possible, with as many agents as possible, so we can all help as many, Medicare clients as possible. It's kind of a win-win-win for me. So again, I hope you guys follow along. I thank you guys for joining. I just got bored on this Saturday night setting up some stuff, so I decided, hey, why not go live here? Oh man, I covered up my
Ultimate Senior Benefits, baby. Get used to seeing the logo. I'm gonna try to plaster this logo everywhere. So we're gonna be Ultimate Senior Benefits. You know, anybody looking to get started, send them my way. We'll start from the ground up. Hit the ground running, baby. Hit me up, Corey. I'm available. Thanks, Murray. Thanks, Murray. Thanks, Courtney. Thanks, Johnny. Sorry, I didn't look at these comments. I haven't looked at the comments in a while. Oh, I never published my poll. That's no fun.